Yeah, I mean, my son's 3, so he helps me DJ at home, put records on and stuff like that. So he gets into the groove of music in general. But everyone always asks me, like, you know, are you teaching him to be a DJ? I'm like, no, I'm teaching him to be out of the music business.
Wir sind beim Royal Arena Festival in der Schweiz und hier sitzt Non-Fiction. I'm very pleased to have you guys here. How you feeling?
I feel fantastic. I feel really, really great. We just killed the show right now. And
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's good to feel the love, man.
I can imagine. So you got together in '95, stayed together until 2006, and then you got back together in 2014. What made you really say, we got to get back on our grind as a group? I mean, we know that you've worked individually, but what made you say you got to get back together?
Boredom.
All right, we're gonna have a lot of fun if you're gonna answer like that.
I knew you'd appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem.
So, what's your answer to this really great question?
Boredom.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so.
You have this like authentic like relationship with people that you haven't seen in a long time, and I think it was organically produced and taken to a place where it should have been. I think we put out an amazing album. I mean, this is not even me being like in myself, taking myself out of myself and us. People consistently say, wow, the future's now changed my life. I see people like, absolutely, the box set definitely sparked it. Like here you have this piece of like nostalgia of a box set with all the material we put out. Like how do we then take this to people who've never seen us live before? You know, how do we take this to people who are purchasing this based on word of mouth, who maybe, you know, bought the album on iTunes or maybe never seen us live, and how do we give them, you know, what they deserve ultimately, which is to see us live? So we talked about it, we got on the phone, we communicated, we did a surprise show in New York City at a Cypress Hills Haunted Hill concert last October 30th, and it was incredible. And then it just manifested from there and snowballed, and here we are, you know.
So it wasn't even really planned, so you just didn't
No. I mean, we planned it, but it was more like, should we, maybe not, but it was like, it wasn't something that we anticipated years ago. It was something that happened as a result of, here's this piece of material, a box set that people are purchasing. Let's see where we're at. Let's see where we're at as individuals, where the trajectory was in terms of where we manifested ourselves in our careers, in our lives as fathers, as musicians, as artists, as creators, and it took us here.
I can add on to that and say that we hadn't spoken together, we hadn't communicated as a group, the 4 of us hadn't talked for 10 years. We'd spoken individually, but as a group collectively, we hadn't had a conversation until we started putting together this box set.
Why is that, if I may ask?
Why? Because certain members of the group didn't get along, you know, and this is the reality of it.
Yeah.
That's why the group split. But time heals a lot of things, and 10 years is a long fucking time. Part of it is also that we're all parents now. Before we split up, only he was a parent. Only Goretex was a parent. The other 3 guys in the group didn't have kids. My daughter, when she was like 5 or 6, saw a Non-Fiction poster and loved it and hung it on her door. Out of all my stuff, I do a lot of music. I'm involved in a lot of projects. She specifically liked that poster, and would always ask me, "What's up with Non-Fiction? Who are these guys?"
Kids are always right.
Yeah, 6 years old. You know what I mean?
Does she love the music? Like,
she loves it. Matter of fact, she turned 8 on October 30th when we did the reunion. The first time we stepped on stage in 10 years was on my daughter's birthday. I brought her out on stage while we were performing.
That's pretty amazing. So, like, what about your guys' kids? Like, do they like your music? Are they fans?
My son knows why I'm out here. He's 4 and I have a 7-month-old.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. He's not really into hip hop. I love him. He's not feeling it. He's like, you know, but he appreciates what I do. And every night I Skyped with him right before we came here at the hotel. And he was like, do a good job, Daddy. You know, do a good show.
So cute.
Not an idea of really what's happening right now, but he will. And that's why it's important for us to capture these moments, you know, so he can see in the future.
So what about you guys?
My kids love the group.
Yes.
You know, they listen to the Beach Boys a lot, but they like Non-Fiction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's pretty close music. I mean, obviously, like
a lot of parallels. You know, there's a lot of equals. So, no, they like it. They grew up on it. So it's not like they, you know, it's different for them because you know they're seeing something that's special. So they're a little, you know what I'm saying? They grew up and they're a little older now to see that. So that's the cool shit about it. So, you know what I mean?
So what about you?
Yeah, I mean, my son's 3, so he helps me DJ at home, put records on and stuff like that. So he gets into the groove of music in general. But everyone always asks me, like, you know, are you teaching him to be a DJ? I'm like, no, I'm teaching him to be out of the music business. So I'm trying to keep him as far away.
Is that an opinion that you would give, like, to young people, to the new generation?
For sure, there's too many people wanting to be artists right now. Not enough fans. We need to, you know, thin out some of the artists out there and just get it back to where it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was gonna be like my next question. How do you feel like hip hop has changed over the last like 20 years that you've been like covering hip hop as well?
It's disgusting. I mean, the thing is, hip hop, where hip hop was 20 years ago, that was like the majority of like what people listen to, the real shit. Now it's rap music, which is very different than hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? So. You know, a lot of it goes back to, you know, people basically, unfortunately, you know, stealing music, and that takes quality control down. And artists don't really care to make good music anymore. So that's what you're getting, you know what I'm saying? You're getting 100 Rick Rosses. That's rap music now, you know? So, you know, I mean, we can sit for 8 hours and discuss how
there's good shit. There's good shit out. Yeah. There's always, if you're willing to look for it, there's good stuff. I mean, for me personally, I don't really listen to a lot of new rap. I'd rather listen to metal, personally. But then you might ask a guy that's in one of the bigger metal bands what he listens to, and they probably say he listens to rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like not that far away from like energy-wise.
Yeah, vibe-wise, and even some content-wise, especially us.
Yeah.
We delve in the same topics, so yeah, it's interchangeable. But yeah, I mean, there's always good music out there if you're willing to look for it. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of whack shit too.
I hear you like in the neck of my neck, like disagreeing.
No, I'm not disagreeing at all. No, I'm just on your neck. No, I think ultimately, like, we have an experience that I don't think anybody who didn't come up in our era will experience. I mean, we were just, you know, talking to Shabazz, a disciple who was here at the show, and we were talking about shows that we did at Wetlands and in New York City, and thinking about like the Roots playing live for free at the Wetlands and us coming on stage and freestyling. And there's this authenticity that you can't take away from what some would call paying dues, right? And doing it. And now you hear rappers who are like, I've been rapping for 2 years. Before we even got heard on a radio, before we even did like radio shows, we were rapping for like 5-6 years. And I think that one of the things, there's no gatekeepers of quality. I think based on technology right now, anyone can put out a record. But I think there's an appreciation that we have, and there's no other way I think any of us would do this based on the struggle and the climbing of that. You know, and I think that young people who are experiencing music the way they are now, based on the social media and the genre that they're in, they don't know any different. So it's our responsibility as people who grew up in an era of the purest form to kind of put out documentaries and books and music that continuously allows them to see the root of it. Because our young people right now aren't rooted in the culture. Yeah. They're just living through it, but they're not rooted in it. But imagine if we had them rooted in it.
But that's very generalizing, don't you think? Like, because there are people who really, who I appreciate as people who I feel like they grew up with gospel music and soul music and stuff, and then they grew into hip hop.
Sure, it is a generalization. And
everyone has different experiences. You know, somebody might, you know, his dad might have listened to jazz. His parents might have been in a psychedelic rock band, and you know, they got into hip hop through that. I mean, the thing with hip hop, there's so many different influences from the original hip hop, which is like, you know, psychedelic rock, progressive rock. That's all a melting pot of what hip hop really is. So it's cool that people should embrace their influences, because, I mean, that's really what hip-hop's about. Hip-hop to me is about, you know, Kool Herc's record collection, whatever records, you know what I mean? Like Africa Bambadas, whatever it is, that's the birth of hip-hop, you know, like, right, Michael Viner, Apache, that's hip-hop, that's before, that predates anything, you know?
That's right, he's right, I agree.
You know, and a big shout out to, it is a generalization, but a big shout out to any parent, any big brother, big sister who exposed the younger generation to the authenticity of what hip hop music is.
I appreciate that as well. So do you feel like this is worldwide hip hop, what you're talking about? Or like, how do you feel about like, I mean, German hip-hop, for example. Do you listen to... I mean, I know that you've worked with Morlockk Dilemma, who's actually releasing his Der Eiserne Besen 2 very soon. Do you...
Shout out to the Snowgoons.
Yeah, Snowgoons, who were the producers of the thing, of the piece of music that you put together. Like, do you still listen
Yeah, I listen to everything. I listen to everything, especially beats. We work with producers from all over the world, especially with beats. You know, it's harder to understand some of the lyrics. I don't speak 20 different languages. Europe is made up of many different languages and countries. I understand a little bit. I understand German.
You do?
Yeah.
Really?
I do.
Okay, also verstehst du mich, wenn ich jetzt mit dir Deutsch rede?
Yeah, I understood everything you just said.
Oh my God, really? Yeah. Ich glaube. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh my God.
Don't tell anybody.
That's so good. All right. Anyway, I really want to thank you guys for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you.
Your show was amazing, if I may say that.
Thank you.
And yeah, I hope to see you guys soon again. Und das war Non-Fiction und Helene für hiphop.de.